Today for ADG Pro, we're going back to Cyberdogs, an old freeware game that I load up once every so often, to investigate the weapons and determine a somewhat pertinent detail that I never really put a lot of thought into. What's the best way to make money in this game? Now, you might not think those two aspects have anything to do with each other, but they kinda do, specifically because you have to buy your own ammo, and because different weapons do different amounts of damage, taking out different bad guys or obstacles at different quantities of shots, and early in a campaign, you really don't have the cash to burn, especially since you want to be up to using the best weapon in the game, the Mega Gun, as soon as possible. So, let's give a quick overview of what we're working with here to figure out a good money-making strategy. And first, the weapons themselves. There's 6 different guns you can purchase: the blaster, power gun, flamer, minigun, launcher, and mega gun. And then you can also equip up to 5 chainsaws, each of which gives you a huge boost in melee damage dealt by walking into an enemy. Now, you might think, just based on that fact alone, that using melee exclusively would be the path to riches, since you wouldn't have to buy guns or ammo. But also bear in mind, you can sell full ammo clips and guns for the same price you buy them for. And there's other factors we're going to get into too. So for all intents and purposes, we're going to be measuring melee as well. Now, if the prices of the weapons seem a bit odd, it's because whenever you buy a weapon you don't have, you're also buying 1 stock of ammo at the same time. Now, with this in mind, the actual prices of these weapons are 1,000 credits for the blaster, 2,000 for the power gun, 2,500 for the flamer, minigun, and launcher, and 5,500 for the mega gun. Another thing to keep in mind is that when you get into a mission itself, you'll have 1 or more objectives to clear. However, if you fail to clear those objectives before leaving the mission area, you have to do the mission over again. When this happens, your status upon leaving the mission is maintained, meaning any ammo you fired or lives you lost stay gone, but any weapons you found, you keep. Plus, you can still get credits for demolition and accuracy bonuses, whereas to get credits for object pickups and kills, you have to actually complete the mission. The pertinent thing here is that, technically, the best way to make money early game is to go into the first mission of a campaign, scout it out, and find where the hidden weapon is, because there will indeed be one. Once you know where it is, restart the game and repeatedly play the mission over and over again, each time finding the hidden weapon, leaving the mission area, selling the weapon, return, find the weapon, leave, sell, return, find, leave, sell, etc. For sake of argument, let's pretend you can't abuse this and are never failing your missions. Then, what is the best course of action to ensure that we're raking in the cash? To figure this out, first I needed to figure out how the game is portioning out cash to begin with. Now, when you complete a mission, you always get 200 credits per object found and 50 credits per kill, regardless of what it was that you killed. Now, this is pertinent because some enemies have more hit points than others, meaning you'll go through more bullets trying to kill them, meaning they're technically worth less per kill because of the increase in ammo consumption, unless you kill them with melee. Regardless of if you complete a mission or not though, you'll also get demolition and accuracy bonuses. Now, the demolition bonus is based on destroying the various obstacles strewn throughout each map. However, after investigating this, I found out that every different kind of obstacle awards a different amount of credits. The light-colored boxes award 10 credits each, the stronger wooden boxes and gray computer cores award 25 credits each, while the tough blue computer cores award 100 credits each. However, accuracy took a bit more effort to figure out, though eventually it made perfect sense. So long as you have over 50% accuracy, you will get an accuracy bonus equal to 50 credits per successful hit multiplied by your accuracy percentage. So if you had 20 successful hits out of 25, your accuracy would be 80%, and thus you would earn 20 times 50, 1,000, multiplied by 80%, which is 800 credits. Now, this means even if your accuracy isn't perfect, getting more shots in successfully is worth more money than fewer, more powerful shots. The obvious drawback being that you now have to actually get those shots to land, and it'll be under attack the whole while. Now to figure out what kind of firepower it actually takes to destroy everything. Now, I went down the list of weapons, starting with the blaster, and checked out the demolition potentials first. Now, light boxes took 2 shots to destroy, wooden crates and gray computers took 3 shots, while the tough blue computers took 12 shots. Now, switching over to the power gun, everything took only a single shot, save for the tough blue computers, which took 2 shots. Now, the flamer and minigun happen to deal the exact same amount of damage, but what surprised me is that they're clearly doing slightly more damage than the blaster, because the wooden crates and gray computers still take 3 shots from those weapons, but light boxes only take a single shot, while the tough blue computers take 10 shots. In fact, the flamer and minigun are very similar in terms of rate of fire even. The major difference is that the flamer has big, slow-moving, short-range shots, while the minigun shots are much smaller but faster and long-ranged. The launcher, amazingly, is slightly less powerful than the power gun, destroying all but the tough blue computers in a single shot, while the tough blue computers take 3 launcher shots to take out, which is just curious. And of course, the Mega Gun just wrecks everything in a single shot. In fact, the only thing in the game which can survive a Mega Gun shot are these special cores that you need to destroy in some missions, but then those are specifically intended to be difficult to destroy, and you only ever have 3 at most, so I didn't feel it was worth investigating those, especially since they don't usually show up until later on, when the enemies get much more intrusive. Also keep in mind with the launcher and mega gun that even though they have a blast radius for dealing with enemies, they can only damage obstacles with a direct impact. Now we need to make sure we're taking the cost of ammo into account to calculate everything out properly. So going down the list, we find that the blaster costs 500 credits for a 100 shot clip, which means it costs 5 credits per shot fired. The power gun is 100 credits for a 10 shot clip, so 10 credits per shot. The flamer is again 500 credits for a 100 shot clip, so 5 credits per shot. The minigun is 600 credits for a 100 shot clip, so slightly more expensive than the blaster and flamer at 6 credits per shot. The launcher is 300 credits for a 10 shot clip, so 30 credits per shot, and the mega gun is 1,000 credits for a 10 shot clip, thus 100 credits just to fire a single mega gun shot. But again, late in the game, the enemies get so thick, you're never going to survive without one of these. So, with all of these values in mind, we can effectively make a table of how much money we profit or lose for destroying each of the various obstacles with each of the various weapons. And as you can see here, going for the tough blue computers makes the most sense, as you're going to turn a profit with almost every weapon you use against them. In fact, we can see that the launcher and mega gun are really not suitable for making money off of demolition at all, and that for most obstacles, you'll want to use the power gun. However, the flamer is the weapon of choice for the light boxes since it can take them out in a single shot and has cheap ammo. And you could also theoretically get these values even higher if you can get the enemies to damage these obstacles for you, but you have to take the final shot. Otherwise, you do not get the cash for destroying it. That said, there's something very pertinent I haven't mentioned yet. When it comes to handling your accuracy bonus, any shot fired which does not hit an enemy, even if it hits an obstacle, counts against you. This means if you want to destroy obstacles for cash, you're committing yourself to having no accuracy bonus, in which case you'll want to stick with melee for the enemies. However, obstacles can indeed block you off from getting into important areas, so there is a workaround to this. Keeping a launcher on hand, which you use only for taking out obstacles that are in your way. Now, since the launcher and mega gun are explosive weapons which can hit multiple enemies at a time, the shots from them are not counted towards your accuracy bonus. But as we saw, they're also too expensive to use to make any sort of cash off of for destroying obstacles. So now let's figure out how profitable it is to go after enemy targets instead. And the first thing I needed to do was figure out how many hit points the various different kinds of enemies have, but as I was doing this, I was actually breathing a sigh of relief because it turns out enemies can only have one of 2 different hit point totals, which I'm calling low hit points and high hit points. So that really simplifies this process. Low hit point enemies require 2 shots to take out from the blaster, flamer, and minigun, or a single shot from the power gun, launcher, or mega gun. As for high hit point enemies, they're a bit more varied, taking 6 shots from the blaster, 5 shots from the flamer or minigun, 2 shots from the launcher, or a single shot from the power gun or mega gun. Now, one thing I want to consider here too, in terms of measuring the value of killing the enemies, is that your accuracy bonus is a thing, and that if you're actively trying to kill enemies for cash, you're going to be making an effort to keep your accuracy bonus as high as possible. So for each enemy group, I've split the table into 3 columns to indicate the credits spent on ammo to make the kill, credits earned from a perfect accuracy bonus, and the final income of the kill, taking into account that you get a bonus 50 credits per kill so long as you complete the mission successfully. This resulted in the following table. Yeah, as we can see, if you can handle it and keep your accuracy perfect in the process, going with the blaster will earn you the most cash, whereas going with the power gun may be way easier since all enemies will take just one shot, but not getting the extra shots in hurts your money making potential. Now that said, if you don't get the accuracy bonus because your accuracy is 50% or less, then the power gun actually makes more sense to use due to the lower cost in ammo needed to achieve the same goal. We also see that the launcher really doesn't make a lot of sense to use at all. It has a low rate of fire, doesn't count towards accuracy, needs 2 shots to take out high hit point enemies, and the ammo cost is too high to really justify it. Though from what I understand, when the game's author, Ronnie Wester, added the Mega Gun, he nerfed the launcher at the same time, so once upon a time it might have been a better option. Now true, the launcher and Mega Gun have a blast radius to their attacks and can thus take out multiple enemies at the same time, but because there's no accuracy bonus involved, you would have to hit a lot of enemies at the same time to make up for that. All that said, as typically happens in this game, by the time you get a little over halfway through any campaign, the enemies are going to become so numerous and difficult to deal with that you're going to have to switch to the Mega Gun to survive. Which isn't all that big a deal because there is one other aspect of making money I haven't mentioned yet: the time bonus. Every mission gives you a bonus deadline to shoot for, which gets larger in the later missions. Well, every second you shave off of that deadline is worth 50 credits, so if you can shave a full minute off of a deadline, that's 3,000 credits right there. Suffice to say, late in a campaign, that, coupled with the usual methods of making money, is going to be what carries you to the end. So this was the part of the video where my plan was to make 2 runs through the game to compare these 2 methods of raking in the cash, going specifically for optimal demolition with the power gun, or going for high accuracy with a blaster. And to keep things balanced though, I set myself a rough limit of spending no more than 5 to 6 minutes in each mission, provided I wasn't going for a time bonus. Which, I mean, early game time bonuses are difficult to get and not worth that much if you pull them off, so really, that wasn't going to happen. I did the demolition run first, and it went extremely well. By the time I was done mission 4, I was already up to a net worth of 63,850 credits, which is taking into account that you can't ever sell your last extra life, since 0 is not a life in this game, and you can only sell down to 5 armor. Now this was more than enough cash to sell off the power gun and go all in with the Mega Gun and time bonuses for the last 6 missions, ending the game with a net worth of 124,263 credits. 63,500 invested into a Mega Gun with 58 full clips left, 28,000 invested into full armor and chainsaws, 12,000 invested into max lives, and 20,763 credits on the final end screen. Then I moved on to the accuracy run using the blaster, and the 4th mission went, badly. In fact, I was losing lives frequently during this run, and it was nearly impossible to keep my accuracy up. The problem is that there's really only 2 types of enemies that you can face reliably with the blaster, given how fast most other enemies move. And unless you have move and fire enabled, firing your gun makes you extremely vulnerable to melee attacks. Now, I don't doubt an accuracy run could work, since for the first couple of missions, I seem to be averaging about the same amount of cash between both runs, but it's definitely a lot more challenging to pull off. Although after that failure, I decided to do one more run, this time with a singular goal in mind: destroy everything. Basically, if it moves, shoot it, and if it doesn't move, shoot it anyways, while still giving myself the same limit of 5 to 6 minutes per mission. Now after 4 missions, my net worth was 58,575 credits, so pretty comparable to what I had with the run going for only destroying the tough blue computers, though I did lose several lives over the course of the campaign, and ultimately reached the end with a net worth of 91,357 credits. 36,500 invested into a Mega Gun with 31 full clips, 8,000 worth in extra lives, 28,000 in armor and chainsaws, and 18,857 as my final bankroll. Had I not lost a bunch of lives, this probably would have been more like 105,000 credits, which is still surprisingly less than the other run. I'm probably just going to chalk that one up as a more challenging campaign seed. But yeah, I think this finally settles the debate I've had with this game. If you want to make money fast and consistently without abusing the way failing missions works, grab a power gun and go for demolition. It doesn't seem to matter too much if you focus on the tough blue computers only or destroy everything, but the point is that even though the accuracy bonus can add up very nicely, you have to be pretty godly at this game to make that work for you. And in the end, it's not that much better of a route to take if you can pull it off. I should also mention, the seeds I was using for those test runs at the end were 45247 for the demolition run, going for only the tough blue computers, and 47328 for the other two runs, which seemed to be a bit more of a challenging seed. Now, even though the game only lets you choose 3 different campaigns in the options, using the command line parameter of -c followed immediately by the campaign number you want between 0 and 65,535 will set that number as the campaign seed, just in case any of you want to see if you can do better with these. Anywho, that's all for today's episode of ADG Pro. Next up, 2 Saturdays from now, on November 6th, will be a standard review, episode 293, where we're going to be taking a look at not 1, not 2, but 3 games, which all share an unusually dark secret, even though they're all Breakout clones. Yeah, I suspect a bunch of you know where this is going, so be sure to stay tuned to see my take on these quote-unquote classics. Thanks for watching, everyone, and extra special thanks to those of you supporting me on Patreon. Here's just a small random selection of you all.